What's up, guys? Hope all you guys are doing good. The month of August is already flying by, and here in Canada, the more the time goes, the closer we're getting to winter. I am excited for the future when it comes to the stock market. The more time you get in the market, the more compounding you have and everything, the more dividends you get paid. But the more time goes by, the older you get and the closer you get to winter every time. The month of August is already started. We're currently August 11. It's time for a portfolio recap, portfolio review of the month of July. So I'm just going to go over how much I received in terms of distributions, my portfolio value, how much I invested, and I'll go also over my holdings, what I bought during the month of July. If you guys watch my previous video, I do all my spending during the month. I pick one day during the month, usually at the middle or at the end of the month, and I take all of the money I have left and I invest everything one shot. So let's get into it. So as you can see, in the month of June, I made $2,071.83, and then in the month of July, I made a little bit less money. Aside from my big dividend monthly payers that are very stable, I am currently building a big position into YMAX, and YMAX is helping a lot to boost the yield of my portfolio. If you guys follow me and if you guys follow all of those YieldMax ETFs, YMAX have been paying a bit lower weekly distributions as of lately because the total IV of the market has been dropping. I think right now we should see the IV pick back up a little bit and distributions are already starting to slowly increase. In August, I am expected to make more than $2,000. And on top of that, in August, we have 5 Fridays, which mean 5 weekly payments from YMAX and from ULTY and all the weekly pairs. So yeah, as you can see, in July, I made $1,958.71. Most of that, and I'll show you guys my holding, is coming from a Canadian ETF called HYLD, which is covered call on basically the S&P 500 with 25% leverage. And that one, they never cut their distributions, and they actually raise them once a year, 2 times a year if the market is doing well. So since I've been holding this, I've been holding HYLD for 2 years now, and they haven't cut their distribution once. It has a yield of around 12-13%, so it's a lower yield one, but it's more stable and it offers more growth. I'm really happy with that position. So a big chunk is coming from that. I make about $800 a month from there. Then I have VDY, which is kind of a Canadian SCHD. I'll show you guys my holdings anyways, you'll see. And then a big chunk of my income is from YMAX. I currently have 1,359 shares. So I make, give or take, between 180 to 250 a week, depending on how big the weekly distribution is. And then in the month of July, I bought 500 shares of ULTY. Since I bought it, I've been making around $50 to $60 Canadian per week after withholding tax and after conversion and everything. It's been adding like around $150 to $200 a month of income and $50 a week of income. So it's been helping a lot with compounding and help me invest in other vehicles. So that is it for that. And as you can see, for the total this year, I'm up $9,511.93. My monthly average is 1.3K and my monthly median is $1,014.38. The reason why my monthly average and my monthly median is a bit lower than my current distributions is because, as you can see, at the start of the year, I was making about $1,000 a month because I was actually saving money to buy a car. And then when I saved up all that money, I went to the dealership and everything, and I just second thought about it. And like, I'd rather be in pain for another year or two and drive a not as cool car. What happened is that in the middle of May, around the middle of May, I dumped all of that car down payment into my portfolio. And as you can see, my income grew by $500. And then in June, I hit 2K. In July, almost 2K as well. You need a car, but like, having a nice car is more emotional than rational. And I know that at some point, like, you can't be always rational. You have to let yourself live a bit, but I'd rather invest in my future for the moment since I'm young and all these things can wait. This is just a screenshot of my current portfolio's value. So right now on August 11th, since the market has been slowly going up, I'm sitting at around 160K of total value, and my forecast dividend is $27,000 a year. This is up and down because every time YMAX pays a weekly distribution, the app that I'm using, Stock Event right now, they think that all of the YMAX distributions for the rest of the year is going to be 50 cents. When I get lower distributions from YMAX, this number goes down. And when I get big distribution, this number goes up. My yearly distribution right now, I would say is probably closer to 24,000. So give or take 2K a month. So now for the value of my portfolio in July, in my TFSA, which is my tax-free savings account, I'm sitting at $86,000. In my RRSP, I'm sitting at $2,100. In my cash account, so my taxable brokerage account, I'm sitting at 46, so almost 47, 46.9. In my FHSA, which is a Canadian account we get here to buy your first house. If you don't own a house, you're able to invest into that account. Whatever amount I put into this, it's tax deductible. These are all my 4 investment accounts, and you can do whatever you want in this account. It's not like managed. So in the last day of July on market close, my snapshot portfolio value was $158,158 and 79 cents. So 158, pretty funny. My portfolio value went up 7.2k, and I contributed 3.3k from my own disposable money. So half of my portfolio value grew from my own contribution, and the other half was my portfolio growing on its own. Really, like when you have a bull market and you have a lot of exposure in the market, I know it can be scary at first, but the power of compounding is really going to help push your portfolio. And that's what I like about monthly investing is I don't care if the market is up or is down. I keep investing. When it's low, yes, it sucks. The value of my portfolio is not going to go up as much, but I'm grabbing shares at a discount. And in the long run, I'm investing in assets that I believe into in the future, mostly ETFs. So I'm pretty diversified. So I know that in the long run, all my investments should be growing. My portfolio's value is slowly but surely growing. As of now, for 2025, I contributed a total of 30k in my portfolio, and the growth of my portfolio is up 42k, including my own personal contributions. I only started tracking my portfolio in March. I just thought about it because I was having a hard time keeping the value of my portfolio month after month, so I only started doing this in March. I'm going to show you guys my holding on this app that I'm using to track my portfolio. Pretty cool app. It's called Stock Event. That's what I've been using lately. My brokerage doesn't have a nice interface, and I don't like logging in using my credentials every time I want to check my portfolio. So that is why I like using an app to track my portfolio, because you don't need to log in your broker and everything every time you want to just see your portfolio. My forecast is $27,000. And now let's look at my holdings. So my top holding is HYLD, 5,764 shares. And this month, I just leave it on drip. And during the month of July, I bought 59 shares with the drip. As you can see, the drip in August already hit. Then YMAX, I didn't buy anything, but I'm planning to buy this month because in July I bought ULTY. August, I'm planning to buy more YMAX. Give or take, it's paying me around 180. If it's very low, 190 to 250 a week. Then I have VDY, which is a Canadian dividends ETF from Vanguard. It's a pretty good one for growth and dividend growth. And it's kind of like a Canadian SHD, but it pays monthly, but the yield is a bit lower. I have 404 shares. I have around $22,000 into this one. And give or take, it pays me around $75 to $80, $90 a month, depending on the underlying dividend holdings that are paying for that month. Then I have some XEQT, which is some growth, some diversified growth from iShares. This one I have 525 shares, 7 shares of VOO, and then I have my 500 shares of ULTY. As you can see in Canadian right here, it's paying me around 55, depending on the week, $55, $60 a week. Pretty happy with my holdings of ULTY, and for now I'm just letting the distribution sit in cash, and then I'm going to use that $50 a week I'm receiving from ULTY and add that to my total amount that I'll be investing later this month. Then I have my 70 shares of Misty that paid me $96 Canadian, $96 Canadian this month. And what's cool for Misty holders is that it pays every 4 weeks, and we have 2 Fridays this month. We're kind of lucky because the first Friday is a Misty payment and the last Friday is another Misty payment. So we're getting 2 Misty payments in August. August is going to be a very big month for income investors in general, I believe. Then I have HDIV, which is covered call ETF on the Canadian index. So this one I have 63 cents, and I don't have a lot. This one just pays me $11 a month. And that's basically it for my holdings. I don't have a complex portfolio. I don't like holding a bunch of stuff. I like to keep it simple. I like to hold stuff that I like. It's easier to manage. It's easier to track. And I just invest every single month in those ETFs that I like. For now, if I have to share my plan with you guys for the rest of the year, I'm planning to buy more YMAX. Until I'm past 2,000 shares, maybe I would go up to 2.5k shares. Next year, I'm planning to invest all of my YMAX distributions into a Canadian covered call ETF that's called HHIS. It currently has 15 holdings, and it pays around 24% a month. I'm planning to buy a lot of HHIS because YMAX is not tax efficient for me as a Canadian. And once my HHIS reaches a good amount, I'm planning on maybe selling all of my YMAX and putting it into HHIS. It does have a lower distribution rate of 24%, but since it's 24%, every $1,000 you invest into that one increases your monthly income by $20. So if I'm able to invest 4 to 5k a month into HHIS, I should be able to grow my income by $95 to $100 a month. Once I reach a certain amount, I'm planning maybe to sell all of my non-tax efficient holding, my UX holdings, and moving them to Canadian holdings. I want to leverage YMAX. Even though I'll be paying more tax, I'll deal with that later. I'm not making enough money with YMAX right now to pay huge taxes. I'm trying right now to just leverage my US holdings because they pay very high yield to buy more assets. And then when my Canadian assets that are more tax efficient but lower yielding start paying good amount of money, I'm going to be selling my US holdings and put everything into those lower yielding but more tax efficient, and at the end of the day, more tax efficient. So even though they're lower yield, I'll pay almost no tax on them, so that money is going to be in my pocket and I'll actually be able to use it if I want to, or just reinvest the rest and not worry too much about taxes. So yeah, I think that was it, guys, for the portfolio recap of July. So just to give you guys a little recap, my portfolio at the close of July was at $158,000. It grew 7.2k from the month of June. It grew 4.8%. And I added $3,300 of my own money into my portfolio during the month of July. What I did in July is I bought 500 shares of ULTY. So the bulk of my income in July was from HYLD, VDY, YMAX, 100 bucks of Misty. Since I bought ULTY in the mid of July, I probably had 2 distributions from ULTY help my July income. So yeah, the bulk of my income is really HYLD, which is a Hamilton covered call ETF on the S&P 500, pays 12 to 13% a month. Yeah, guys, I think that's it for the video today for the portfolio recap. Let me know in the comments if you guys had similar returns during the month of July. Feel free to share in the comments what you guys picked up during the month of July. If you're a US investor and a Canadian investor, I'm curious to hear what you guys picked up, and I'm always learning from you guys. You guys often refer to some ETFs in the comments that I never heard of that are very, very interesting. And if you made it to the end, thanks for watching. Leave a like. Consider subscribing if you found this video interesting and you're an income investor and you're also passionate about all these things. And until next time, take care, guys.